please request our last presenter for the day, Mr. Deepak, Manager Engineering from NEV Mann Hummel Filters Private Limited, who will be enlightening us with some details on the topic new requirements and new solutions for multifunctional venting units. May I please request Mr. Deepak to be on the dais and share his detailed insights. Thank you.
Good afternoon all. I am Deepak, coming from the Mann and Hummel, and Mann and Hummel is a German headquartered company which is mainly deals with the filtration, and filtration is our DNA. So today I am talking about the new requirements and new solution for the multifunctional venting unit. Yeah, the main function what the venting unit is the permanent pressure compensation, which is due to the altitude difference while driving uphill or downhill, or maybe the altitude difference due to transportation via flight mode. This is the maximum pressure difference what we feel in the flight mode. So the major function of the venting function is to make the inside of the battery pack pressure versus the environment. So the pressure difference has to be monitored and it has to be compensated continuously. This is the main function of the venting unit. And if you see, the major component on the venting unit is the membrane, which is made up of PTFE membrane. And PTFE is a hydrophobic and the oilophobic media, so that nothing will stick on it, and also it's a very chemically stable media, means that it will meet the stringent automotive standard for a lifetime. So that is what the PTFE membrane, and this PTFE membrane in combination with the spike, which is the one of the feature which will prevent the, which it will activate the during the thermal runaway event. Yeah. The sizing of the venting unit. This is a very critical function which is a, during the thermal runaway there is a maximum pressure. So the first function is what is the pressure, maximum pressure which is allowed between the environment as well as the battery pack inside, and also expected maximum pressures allowed, and also speed of pressure gradient buildup. This is where when the thermal runaway event happens, then there is a how much the gases will build up inside. And also battery pack free air volume and also the membrane porosity. These are the major factors which is we are considering for the membrane area. And also membrane area, if you see, because of the volumetric utilization, the efficiency inside the battery pack is more and more nowadays. So the volume, the free air volume what we required is really lesser and lesser. So the area, the required membrane area is directly proportional to the free air volume, which calls for the smaller venting units. The one more function or the major function of the venting unit is the degassing, which is, we can say, the thermal runaway event. If you say it can be divided into two phases. One is the electrolyte decomposition, which is slow, but the second phase is fast and the highly exothermic reaction due to the complete degradation of the electrolyte. And here the gases or the flame or explosion chances are more in the second half of the thermal runaway. Here, this is where the our degassing function will come into picture. So majorly the thermal runaway events are majorly, the emergency degassing function is majorly by the triggering overpressure, total gas release which is typically 1.3 to 2.5 liter per amperes, and gas release rate, this is based on the cell chemistry, that is NMC is in seconds and LFP in minutes, but the degassing is more stable in LFP, but still we require the venting function that is in a smaller units, which is called for the LFP. This is how the venting unit actually works with the emergency degassing, means thermal runaway cases. So during the thermal runaway, the pressure which is meet the threshold limit, then the membrane will push from the push to the outside, and the spike function which is in the inbuilt to the venting unit will rupture this PTFE membrane and give the maximum area for the gas to flow out, the thermal runaway gas to flow out. This is how the simulation, this is how the pressure will push the PTFE membrane to puncture the PTFE membrane to make more area. Yeah. So the trigger overpressure is the function which is basically nowadays, because of the battery pack design, this operating lower opening pressure, that is 100 to 200 millibar, and also the trigger overpressure is not reached, should not be a standard operating edge cases, meaning the edge cases it should not do the thermal runaway like event it is simulating, but it should avoid that function. This is one of the solution for the thermal runaway event, which is called flying cap. During the thermal runaway event, this is 360, means it's rotated 180 degree just to show, but this is the clip which attached to the main body, and during the degassing, this clip will release this cap, and maximum pressure, means maximum gases will allow from the battery pack. This is one of the latest development what we are doing in the Mann and Hummel. This is called compact line, which is majorly for the two-wheeler and three-wheeler application. Because of the smaller sizes, so we are going for a smallest designs, and it's having all the function like permanent pressure regulation, pressure relief, and also emergency degassing with IP67 protection. Yeah. So these are the latest legislation along with these are the European as well as the China regulation, but India now latest we have AS 156, which is called for the 5-minute cushion from the first event of the thermal runaway to the fire. So this is the cushion to have the passenger evacuation. So this is where the venting unit what we are having give a cushion, so that the thermal event happen in a single cell will not cascade into a major fire or explosion. That is the cushion, that is the 5 minutes. This is the regulation now and already implemented in Europe from this year. Yeah, the basic, the fire basic is basically we require 3 components. One is flammable gas mixture, oxygen from the ambient air, and the lighting source, that is heat or a spark. And also the mixture of the ratio of oxygen and flammable gas should be above the lower ignition limit and below the upper ignition limit. So the gas composition mainly depend on the cell chemistry as well as the state of charge. And this gas mixture is formed from the battery cell when there is a thermal runaway. This basically from the electrolyte, and this can lead into a explosion if it is having a specific concentration range, and also it's having a oxygen which is outside of the battery pack. So if you see, the oxygen inside the battery pack is limited, but when it is in the outside of the battery pack, the oxygen concentration is more, and coupling with the mixture of the gases as well as the hot particles, which is from the cell can during the thermal event, then there is a chance of fire. So this is where Mann and Hummel had a critical functionality, additional functionality, which we had this particle filter, which can be filtered out, these hot particles, so that this ignition can be delayed. So majorly to know that particle size, we have to predict this, what is the total mass ejected from one single cell, and also typical particle size distribution, and which particle size is critical. So during the study, if you see, the 50% of the critical mass size is the diameter of 0.85 mm. So this is where we concentrated to filter out these hot particles coming out of the battery pack, so that the thermal event can be postponed or delayed. These are the type of flat as well as the pleated features with the grid size of 0.85. So it will filter out the hot particles, so that the particles we should not travel behind or outside of the battery pack. This is the major function of this pleated or the flat grids. And also one of the function is when there is a thermal runaway happens, it is monitored with the pressure, temperature, and gas or a voltage. These are the BMS which will detect, but it's later in the time frame. To early detection, we should have sensors which will determine when this happens in initial cell damage. So for that, we have developed the sensors, but the sensor should work in all the lithium-ion chemistries as well as all the state of charge levels and strong signal at even low gas concentration. But it should not be no crash sensitivity means there is no false positives. And also it should be high durability, because to meet the high automotive standard for lifetime, and also lower power consumption and also cost. So if you see the gas detection in the H2, the hydrogen, it's very early. Before the temperature and pressure show some changes in the pattern, already we have sensed the hydrogen is in the initial event, it is already, we can sense the hydrogen. So this is the one of the factors. And also second is carbon dioxide is also, if you see the early warning signal, and it is almost after the first event, first signal to, it is within 8 seconds we will already have the increase in the carbon dioxide concentration. So these are the major factors determine that what kind of gases we can sense and for early warning. This is the reason we developed a sensor which is already integrated into the venting unit, which will sense the H2 and CO2 concentration levels. Summary, I think based on the LFP and the battery pack volumetric sizes, we are going for the very low venting unit. And also we have a lower trigger overpressures. This is required for the new battery pack sizes or new standards. And also the increase in the gas release rates. This is the one high nickel content. So this is also, we required a maximum number of venting units or more number of venting units. And also early detection to meet the new battery norms. Yeah. So this is the summary, and any questions, please call me. You can contact me anytime with this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Deepak, for sharing your detailed insights with us. May I please take the honor of sharing a token of appreciation on behalf of Informa Markets India.